going live. Hey guys, let's today is gonna be total chaos. I just got out of work, had a STEMI. The whole purpose of my show here is I want to prevent you from ever having to see me at my place of business. And what is that place of business? I work in a cath lab. I see people who are having a heart attack. I believe that heart disease, most of the heart disease that we see in America, can be completely prevented. Not all of it. There might be some congenital stuff. There may be some other stuff where we need cardiologists. But what I'm going to suggest to you is that you can help prevent yourself from being a victim of the #1 killer in America today. That is heart disease, right? So I still need to gather some more stuff here. We're making a Bombay burrito. I was going to have it done before we got on the call here, on the live stream, the whatever we're doing. So I've still got to get some potatoes. I still got to find some cauliflower. I still got to find some garlic. They're in different places in my house. My wife runs a bakery, so am I 100% all the time vegan? No, but most of the time I am. So we are going to get a few potatoes here. We're looking for some garlic here. Still got to get a knife. Getting real close and cozy. Once again, total chaos. I apologize for that, but we are still going to get this done, and we're still going to have fun, right? So I had planned on getting the potatoes already made and mashed. I'm going to wash those as we talk. This is going to be total chaos today. It's amazing. Bombay burrito. It's basically some... It is basically some mashed potatoes. So we're going to get us cutting board. We're going to get us a knife. We are going to cut those into small pieces so that when we boil the water, it takes a lot less time. Because right now, I tried to have the show ready to go. Today, the plan was the potatoes were going to be already mashed. My niece was going to be here. She decided there were... she got to hang out with her hubby, so I do not blame her for wanting to go out and have some fun. So right now we're going to do a little bit of prep work. We're going to try to find some cauliflower. My wife says that there's cauliflower in here somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's at. So we are going to put the phone in a little tripod. We're going to see if we can show you what we're doing here. We are going to just take some potatoes, and we are going to cut them in very small. Potatoes, big knife. Cutting board. I'm going to just cut these in about 1-inch squares. I've got 3 potatoes. I'm going to throw a garlic in that if I can find one. Once again, I usually have this all laid out beforehand, but today, not going to happen that way, right? So we're going to eat as we can. The whole point of this show is to try to get you to try some whole plants in your diet. I would suggest that the more whole plants that you can get into your diet, the healthier you will be. So it is my opinion that when I was younger, I ate horribly. I lived in the drive-thru. Hamburgers were a staple of mine. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm cutting potatoes into very small parts because I'm trying to boil them as quickly as I can so I can mash them. I'm leaving the skins on the potatoes. You don't have to. A lot of times people, when they make mashed potatoes, will peel the potatoes. I think that there are a lot of vitamins just under the skin of the potato. So cleaning off the skin is important because there's probably pesticides involved in growing those potatoes, and at least rinsing those off, cleaning those. I was watching a very interesting gentleman. He was talking about in the food prep world, one good way is to let them soak in water and vinegar, which I may be doing more and more as time goes on. So if you are making your own food, at least rinse your vegetables, because especially if they're not organic, because they've got pesticides on the outside of the skin. They've probably been cleaned a little bit, but not well enough. So I'm going to let you look here. These potatoes are not, I'm dicing them so that they will cook through quicker. That's the only purpose of this. And they're going to be a little bit different. The more uniform I could make them, the quicker, the more uniform they will cook through. So I'm going to just kind of show you what I did here. Cut them up. I'm going to throw them into some water, into a pan full of water. I probably should have let these sit for a little while, rinse off some of the starch in the potato. Didn't do that, right? So once again, this is just kind of going as we can. I'm going to put that on the stove here. We're going to turn that up to 9. We are going to put a lid on the pan. We're going to let that come to a boil. We will probably turn that down a little bit, and we're going to test it with a fork. My biggest way that I test potatoes is I put a fork in it, and I feel how mushy the potatoes are before I mash them. We're going to go try to see if we can find some garlic in here. I don't know if we're going to be able to find garlic quickly. My pantry is full. Hey, look at that. We did. We found garlic quickly. I have a clove of garlic. I'm going to throw that in there. I love the taste of garlic. I use a lot of garlic. I think it is one of the most healthy vegetables, plants there are. So, and it lends its flavor to a lot of different, what I would call cuisine profiles. I think that there's a lot of countries, Italy, other countries that use the flavor profile of a. I'm just going to cut this a little bit. I'm going to let it just boil with the potatoes. Then I'm going to mash it with the potatoes. We're going to be putting a lot of spices in those potatoes when we're done. I've just gathered a bunch of spices. We're also going to cut some onion very small. I'm going to grab the mandolin cutter for that one, because I want to cut them extremely thin, and I don't want you to have to wait for me to do that. So I'm basically going to make pickled onions. I was going to put those in this morning, but I got called to work. So, are you going to cry for me? Don't cry for me. I was going to use a red, that's all, folks. I was going to use a red onion. It is a little less sour, oniony tasting, a little less of that. I was going to have it a little bit more sweet. In the particular recipe that I looked up, they used some sort of sweetener with it. It was a little bit better than just sugar. I think I've talked a little bit about the hierarchy of health and how I believe that hierarchy of health is the whole plant is the best, and the more processed that plant gets, the worse it is for you. So we're trying to do as much whole plants as we can. We're going to use a mandolin slicer here, just a plain one. Maybe I can get this. Mandolin slicers work great, and I think that it is a really valuable tool in your kitchen. And this onion doesn't fit on there, so guess what? We're just going to cut it in half. I've got a little protector for my fingers so that I don't slice my fingers off. Well, it's thick enough now that I don't need it to start with. I'm just, let's see if we can bring this camera down, show you what I'm doing. This will get a much faster, uniform cut. So I'm just trying to get a few onions like this. This is good enough for what we are doing. So let's go to our next step in the process. I'm just using a glass. I don't have any white vinegar, so I'm using apple cider vinegar. It's probably best white vinegar for this because it will not discolor your onions. We are just kind of pickling these. So there's some apple cider vinegar. There's some onions. We're going to throw the onions in there. We're going to make sure that it's completely covered with the onions. Right? And then we're going to put some spices in there. I'm going to put some coriander seeds in there. I'm going to put some celery salt in there. I'm going to put some onion powder in there. Hey, onions with onion powder. Crazy. Sometimes I just do crazy things and see what it tastes like. I'm going to put some pink peppercorns in there. I'm going to put a little bit of cumin seed in there. I'm going to put some garlic powder in there. What the heck? Some garam masala, which is almost it's paprika, turmeric. Turmeric is super good for your health. We're just going to put a little bit of that in there. Then we are going to shake it around. We're going to let it sit. I'm probably going to show you this in the Facebook group after the case because I don't think the pickling is going to get done in the short amount of time that I have here. So I'm going to show you some pictures of this when I eat it. I've got some pre-made naan that I bought. Once again, it's a little bit highly processed. We're just going to take this over to the fridge. We're going to put it in there. We're going to let it sit while the potatoes are boiling. Are we boiling yet? We're not even boiling yet. So we're going to keep those going. I'm going to see if I can find the cauliflower. I'm going to roast. I'm going to turn on the oven. I'm going to put it to 450 degrees. Maybe I'll put it on broil. Get a little bit of char on the top of those. Yeah, I'm going to put it on broil. See if we can get a little blackened top. I'm going to see if I've got a pan. I don't have a pan right here. I will hunt down a pan. I'm going to run out of the room. Sorry, I'm going to talk while I'm doing this. I'm going to get a pan. We're going to get a little bit of parchment paper. And we don't need any parchment paper. Maybe some aluminum foil. I'm just going to get some aluminum foil. We're going to get a little bit of cauliflower and garbanzo beans. Once again, these are not the highest on the hierarchy of health because they come in a tin can and the lining inside the can. It's probably not the greatest. What I am going to do is I'm going to rinse these as best I can. I'm going to get some cauliflower. We're going to put that on a. I'm going to get some cauliflower. So I'm basically just taking this, pouring out some. We're going to get a little bit of water in there. We're going to rinse off the juices that are on that. We're going to put some spices on these garbanzo beans, and we're going to put them under the broiler for a little bit. Going to get some cauliflower. Baby, do you know where the cauliflower is? Huh? In the fridge? We're going to turn the potatoes down. Look at that. So we're going to talk about this dish. We may not have it completely incorporated when we're done. I've got some cauliflower here. We're going to take some cauliflower. We're going to take a little bit of beans here. We're going to once again throw some spices on top of those. This time I'm going to put some pepper, just some cracked pepper. I love pepper, so I'm going to put a lot of pepper on these. You can adjust spices on your taste the more you taste the spices, which, once again, I would suggest spices are amazing and good for you. Turmeric, super healthy. So there's some cracked pepper. There's once again some garam masala, which has turmeric, kind of almost not a curry, kind of almost a curry. Some onion powder. I'm going to put a little Italian seasoning on these. What the heck? This is probably not hot enough yet, but I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to keep checking that over time. Each time you open the oven, it will lower. We're going to put us some avocado and some tomato in this. I'm going to run over here. We're going to get us some pre-made naan. I was going to buy some tortillas, but I already had this. Pre-made naan. That's what we're going to put our Bombay burrito in. A little bit more Indian flavor in our Bombay burrito. And we're going to just have a little bit of onion. We've already got our knife, so we're going to start getting the avocado, which has already been halved. We're going to try to get the pit out. I just hit it with a knife and then twist it a little bit. Usually that will work. And I'm going to cut some thin slices. And I'll probably just scrape it out with a spoon. For that, I'm going to half slice. Another really cool thing that I saw on another show was using 2 food containers and then packing the round lids and putting the tomatoes, and then you can slice those, and it makes it that much faster when you do it. Pretty cool. I'm going to start using some of those ideas in my cooking. Maybe we can find out who that guy is on YouTube. Sometimes I cheat and use other people's ideas to make myself a little bit faster, because sometimes there's a little bit of chaos in my life. Like, I get called out to work when I thought I was going to be doing a cooking show. That's why I do it on Saturdays, because there's less of a chance that I'll be going to work on Saturdays. But sometimes people have heart problems, so I got to get called out and away. So we've got like a slow boil going on here with the potatoes. And we're going to just let those go for it'll probably be 30 minutes for those on. We're going to get a masher. We're going to mash those. We've got basically, like I said, there was a whole garlic in there, whole garlic clove, a pretty big garlic clove, and 3 potatoes. I cut those in very small portions. I'm looking to see if I've got a masher. I might not even have a masher. I may be using a fork for this. No biggie. So basically, as we incorporate all this stuff, we're going to have us a tortilla or a naan. We're going to put mashed potatoes on that. We've put a lot of spices in our mashed potatoes. We're going to put some avocado on that. We're going to have some tomato on that. We're going to have some pickled onion. I was going to use a pink or red onion, but I didn't have it. We've got some, our protein is going to be chickpeas, garbanzo beans, which when I was younger, I wasn't that super fond of them. I really like chickpeas. The more that I have them, the more I like them. I'm going to suggest to you that you can get enough protein in your diet as a vegan. If you do use meat, I'm going to call you omnivore. I think you can still be healthy. I think it's healthier not to eat meat. But if you are going to eat meat, I would suggest fish is probably your best choice, and limit your meat. Like, I wouldn't eat meat every meal. That's me if you were doing it just for health reasons. I think that when you have meat, especially red meat, with all the fat, it tastes amazing, but it collects in your arteries, and that's why we see so much heart disease, so many strokes, so much peripheral vascular disease, so much dementia. I believe that it plays a key role in diabetes, and there's some people that would disagree with me on this, but do your own research. And like I said, on the Facebook page, we will put the finished product out there. I don't know. I try to keep these about 30 minutes so that people just kind of get some instruction. Usually they're done with my niece, so they're kind of fun. I think they're fun. When it's me just talking, it's not quite as fun. But the basic thing that I'm trying to do is get you some instruction on getting more vegetables in your life, finding some side dishes that you can have that are going to have more whole plants. Maybe it will have a little bit of processed stuff. I'm also going to make a chutney. This chutney is the recipe called for yogurt. We're going to use a coconut yogurt. So basically, it's just coconut that has been made to have the consistency of yogurt. We're going to use a little bit of, we're going to have some spinach in our little Bombay burrito. We're also going to have some mint and cilantro in the chutney. You can already smell this mint. It smells amazing. So I'm going to get a small bowl. I'm going to turn this down a little bit so I have basically on a 2. It's boiling to the point where potatoes can be mashed easily. I've left the skins on. I love mashed potatoes with the skins on. I also believe that it has more health benefits. Most of the vitamins are under the skin. Some people would suggest you'll lose a lot of your water-soluble vitamins when you boil. But in this dish, I think you're getting a lot of vitamins also from the other plants that are in it. You got some mint, you got some spinach, you've got some cilantro, all amazing vegetables, greens that you can use in your cooking. Let's hunt down a bowl here. I'm also going to hunt down an immersion blender. I'm just going to use that real quick to make this what we call chutney. Let's use a glass bowl. We're going to go over here. We're going to get us a small glass bowl. We're going to try not to make a big mess. When we make our little chutney here. So I've got myself a little glass bowl. I've got some Noosa coconut yogurt, plain. So in a lot of Middle Eastern cooking, what's it called? Tzatziki sauce. They use yogurt. If you're vegan like me, you're trying not to use milk because you believe that it affects your health. Some people that are vegan for other reasons. So we're going to put some of this yogurt in here. Buddy head. Who's my big buddy here? You're going to cook with me someday, buddy. And we'll have fun, but not today. So I'm basically just going to cut off these mint leaves because I'm going to use the immersion blender to make the chutney. I'm just going to put some mint leaves in there. I'm going to put some cilantro in there. Stalks are even in there, but with the immersion blender, that will just make this into a nice little chutney. I will probably put some spices in there also. Spoon. A little bit sweet. We've got our immersion blender here. I think it's just a Hamilton beef brawn. I'm going to try not to make a big mess when we make this. If we can learn how to use it. Probably going to get some more leaves in there for this. It's really light. I want it really green. A little bit more cilantro. A lot more mint. So tiki sauce is starting to look like a real chutney. It's just yogurt. It's going to be mint and it's going to be cilantro. Is that done? Oh, yeah. Got a nice, thank goodness my wife is here and she can smell. And she smelled the burning of the garbanzo beans. And I like a little bit of char on some things. There may be some, especially on red meat, char has some chemicals, ACEs, that may not be the best for you. So even char on vegetables may not be the best, but I'm going to suggest that it will be counteracted by some of the phytonutrients that are in those vegetables. And if you got a little bit of char, it adds some flavor that I think is amazing. But you got to be careful with the ACEs, or I forget what that ACE stands. But once again, I would suggest to you that if you make it out of vegetables, hey, there's our chutney. I think we're just about done with the chutney. I might put a little bit of pepper or something in there with that. I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning my little immersion blender. We're going to post, maybe on YouTube, I will do a video where I show me incorporating all the stuff here. We've been out here for 30 minutes, so hopefully this was kind of fun. I would love to cook with other people. I would invite people to come and cook with me. Teach me how to make an amazing vegetable dish. And I would love to have you on the show. Let's do something together. You guys rock. Have a great day. Talk soon. And bye.